Welcome, welcome, welcome to Pit Stop Ranch. Goes a place, does a thing, and sees some stuff. This special installation is the Goodguys SoCal Nationals presented by BASF at the Del Mar Fairgrounds in San Diego County. We went to a supposedly, I guess, your regular Goodguys show at the same venue a few months back. And it was a great show, big turnout, lots of people, cool cars. So we were kind of wondering what's different about this one. So let's go ahead and go through and check it all out and see what you think. If you can spot the difference, or you have flat out know the difference, tell us. Let us know in the down below. As you can see, we see kind of the usual suspects here. We got a Model A 5 window, which, hey, we happen to have one of those, with a small block Chevy, where we're going to, of course, do the flathead. This was a pretty sweet Cutlass, LS swapped. Very well done, very pretty. $60K, pocket change. LS2 with the 4L60E. Well, in the first building where we entered here, we have kind of your usual suspects of show cars. We got a bunch of gorgeous A-bodies, such as this Cutlass. And then sitting next to it is this extremely beautiful GTO. Now, interestingly, this GTO has the it's the 4-speed. Yay! Actually, it's a 5-speed, as you can see, Tremec. And then it's got the FI Tech triple deuces on, I suspect, a stock intake. So that's hopefully it's a 389, but it's still the Pontiac engine, which if you want to make real reliable horsepower and you want modern reliability, LS swap it. If you want to do something interesting, get a original engine, or at least an engine from the manufacturer, or some other engine swap hasn't been done 10,000 times. But anyways, I dug this. Here is a Shelby GT350 clone. Very beautifully done. Initially we thought maybe it was the real thing, but with I think it says on the paperwork that it's actually a tribute or clone, or however you want to call it. Which, yeah, that's what you want to do. Awesome, cool. It's a beautiful car. It's very well executed. I enjoy it quite a bit. And the nice thing about it being a tribute or clone is if you go ahead and drive it on the street, you're not driving a $500,000 car around. You're only driving a $100,000 car around. There's just a beautiful classic and a Circle Track car. The Circle Track car is a small block with the. That's a small block with the mechanical Hellborn fuel injection. But anyways, as we go through, pretty much gonna, as usual, pretty much hit the stuff that catches my eye. There's a lot of any one of these cars is going to draw a crowd in any parking lot it shows up in. Of course, I'm always attracted to the flatheads, and this one with the 471 blower on it. Wow, that's spiffy, it's neat. But yeah, like as I was saying, all of these cars are going to attract a crowd in any parking lot they go. They're all gorgeous cars. They're all perfectly done show cars. In a venue such as this, you get a little overwhelmed, and it's something that at least I, having been to enough of these in my years, I try and find the interesting stuff, the stuff that may be the new or the little bit different. And it's hard. You got this gorgeous 67 fastback with a Performance 390 in it. And then this was kind of interesting to me, only because here's a 65 with the straight 6 in a car show. You don't see as many of these anymore. They're still out there, plenty of them out there, but there's a pretty 32 with 4 Strombergs on a small block Chevy. Just beautifully done, probably a fun as hell to drive. And that was kind of the formula, was a old Ford sheet metal with a small block Chevy, turbo 350, and a 9-inch. Here's a pretty Mach 1, 69 Mach 1 with the Cobra Jet, and sexy as hell. I do love those scoops on the haunches, more so than the 71 that we have. I think the lines are just better on the 69 and 70. Okay, now this is an interesting car. This is a real Shelby Daytona. This isn't a kit car. This was the real thing. It was really raced. It was really driven. It's been updated and cleaned up and looks great. Though looking at the master cylinders, those are modern master cylinders, so it makes me wonder. It does make me wonder. Anyways, if I am mistaken or if I misunderstood what this car is, let me know. Tell me in the comments. Call me an idiot. Call me whatever you want. I appreciate any comment you guys make. Cool car. I dig it. Saw it from a lot of angles. I wasn't the only one. One of the challenges with getting up to interesting cars like this is everyone thinks it's interesting, because unfortunately what I think is interesting isn't necessarily unique relative to other people, and they get swarmed. So getting up next to them. Now here's a cool 32 Phaeton, and it's just a bit different. You don't see them as much. Phaeton. Anyways, you don't see them very much. The convertible 4-door like that. Yeah, here's just a pretty Chevy convertible with a Velocity stacks. Let's see, I believe it's actually an LS motor with that hides the ignition coils. Okay, outside. There's a lot of stuff outside. Inside the buildings is all the super high-end cars. On the outside is where all of the non-invitees. I don't know how they distinguish between who goes inside and who goes outside. I guess it's when you buy your tickets to participate, I suppose. But all the cars outside, you can cruise up and down the area that is set aside for the show. Now, one thing about the show was Route 66 was rendezvous out at San Bernardino is happening the exact same day as that we went, which was on Saturday. This is a Friday, Saturday, Sunday show. And one of the differences we noticed on between last time we were here and this time we were here, this is a AMC Rambler 4-door with a small block Chevy in it. One of the big differences we noticed was it wasn't as full of people as last time. It wasn't as busy. There wasn't as many cars, and there wasn't as many people walking around. It wasn't as crowded. It could be because this is the inaugural event for this SoCal Nationals, which I'm still kind of puzzling on, to be honest with you. It's been a day, and I'm 24 hours as of recording this since we left. 64 GTO with the Pontiac engine in it. Always very cool. And it looks like it's actually driven, which, is exactly, what I would do if I had it. But
it makes sense.
I'm wondering if the two cannibalized on each other. Now, friends who were at the Route 66 rendezvous and not here at this event were commenting on like every single vendor spot was taken. There was no room. In fact, they had to take some away, some spots away from vendors or who were like nonprofit and had had a free spot, but they you had enough paying people for spots that they wanted the space. So I'm wondering if maybe the Inland Empire, Southern California crowd, more of them went to the Route 66, while the more of the San Diego, maybe even LA crowd came to this. I don't know. It was still a scheduling conflict. Maybe someone can let us know. Checking out that 71 Mach 1 is cool, just to get kind of a feel for it. Pretty color, but we're going to do a different color. I thought this was a cool car, rather unique. Did a lot of talking on it.
Oh, yeah, this was here last time, but it was inside.
This is the overhead cam flathead conversion. This car was at the last time we were here, and that was another thing that came up, was quite a few vehicles I recognized from the last trip we came to the Goodguys at Del Mar. And even some of those we'd seen at the LA Roadster Show in Pomona. Regardless, it's always fun to see the cars and see them. I remember this blown SS. I remember a lot of these cars. A lot of them are very familiar. Doesn't make them any less special. They're all special. They all get accumulated at these shows. But I'm curious, for other people who frequent other shows in other parts of the country, do they keep seeing a lot of the same cars keep coming back? Now I remember this it's a T bucket, excuse me. It's got the 3.2s on the top, and then it's got the MSD ignition, the distributor, on an LS engine, which, I dig that. That's cool. I think that timing cover that allows you to run the distributor was available through GM Performance Parts. I imagine other people still make it if it's not there. This Buick Wildcat, I dug it. Bone stock Wildcat with the 401 V nailhead. It's $24,500 for this car. That seems pretty reasonable to me. I'd have to do some research, but I think it might have a TH400 in it. So instead of the Dyna Flush or the Dyna Flow, which is derided as the Dyna Flush. Yeah, it's. I really dug this car.
Was pushing the torque. Was pushing how much torque they produce.
I think it'd be a cool car to have. I'm half looking for like a Wildcat or a same vintage or time frame Pontiac Bonneville would be really cool. The Impalas, of course, are untouchable. You can't touch anything. Like if that was an Impala in that condition, it would be $50,000-$75,000. But since it's the Buick, which was a much nicer car than the Impala, it's of course not as less expensive. It's half a third the price, the value. Here's just a nice show of lineup of a lot of the cars that were here. This is out in the more broader parking area, participants parking area. Hey, look, a Corvair. These are always, I really like Corvairs, especially the second generation like this. I like the color. T-bucket with a small block Chevy. $17,800. I have no idea what a T-bucket like that is worth. Very 70s build. Now here's an interesting one. This has got to be of this vintage land yacht. I've seen a few of them chopped, and that's got to be the best looking chop I have seen on a 70s land yacht. Now here is a 1920 or 1930 Chevy pickup that's definitely set up as a land speed racer setup, and then it's got the Dodge engine, small block in it. That's pretty interesting. It's not what you would expect, but I like that. Now this was in a special area that was for owner built. Like the owner built the vehicle, and it wasn't built by a shop, because the reality is a lot of those real pretty cars are mostly built in a shop. Now here is a Dodge Hemi, first gen Hemi, 3 deuces in it, really cool. It is a 32 Roadster, so that's an awesome car. It's kind of where the direction I would like to go with my Chrysler Firepower and my Tudor, the 29 Tudor I got. Now here's an old race car from back in the day, a 2829A Roadster with a 59A, 59AB, 59 flathead Ford with the blower on it. That is a cool, neat car. It's got the 2 barrels on top. That's a cool car. I dig it. It's got that's a tractor. It's a Farmall tractor grill on it. I believe it's a Farmall. Someone correct me. It is a tractor grill though. I'm sure it actually tells us in this documentation if I spent the time to read it all, but I did not. But that's a neat car. Here's just a nice classic lineup of early Ford cars, pickups. You name it. We got a Hemi right there. You have small blocks. All of these are that's a blown Hemi. And it's such a small car. That's sound those tiny tires. That's kind of crazy. An International Scout 2. I have a soft spot for these because I grew up rattling around in the back of one of them. Now this particular example has the 6-liter LS truck motor, which is an excellent motive power if you don't want to deal with the 345 International V8 or something. Now people can just idle around in their cars, idling with 3 2s on a small block Chevy there. Good setup. Now, they had a burnout box area, but only had one person show up to compete for the burnout, so by de facto they got the prize. This F-150 has a flip forward front end, kind of like the 54 F-100 that we have that we got started a while back. So I was just taking some shots of that. Now here's all the competitors that were taking part in the autocross section of the competition, which I got a chance to see some of. Cool custom suspension in the back. This is actually built on is a Ranchero that someone has gone through and pro modded. A second gen Corvette, obviously built out. Here's a Falcon wagon that is built on a modern GT 500 chassis. Like they did a body swap and put the two together. And it did awesome in the autocross. It looked very slick, very fast. So it's got a little bit of a puddle underneath it. Unfortunately, by the time I set up, got in position to get some good footage of the autocross, they were done with the autocross. All the competitors had gone through. So we got a chance to walk through the pits and check out these cars. Here's a LS powered with the blower on it. Buick Regal. Love G bodies. Yeah, it's got it's got the fun brake in it, so this is also for drifting. I think the trunk lid and the door skins are both carbon fiber. I mean, they look carbon fiber, but a lot of times people will just cover up, put carbon fiber on the metal and clear coat it so it looks like it's carbon fiber. But I think that they actually replaced the body panels with carbon fiber, so that's pretty cool. Get the weight down. Third gen Camaro, also with an LS in it. It was going around pretty good too. 34 Ford thing. That's an AMC Rambler with an LS motor. Sure looks like an AMC, don't it? Another Falcon. Another Falcon. A Camaro. I mean, one thing about the Falcon is it's a great lightweight platform to start with. A little floppy, but all the hardware on it. Now, interrupting in the middle of all the autocross cars, I spotted this thing, so I had to come over and take a look. It's kind of a rare overhead cam. It wasn't rare back in the day, but today, since everyone ripped them out and replaced them with V8s, someone who kept the overhead cam inline 6 on their Firebird, that's really cool. I think I would feel obligated to keep it running that way, even if I'd rather put an LS3 or a built Pontiac in it. Anyway, some more of the competitors for the autocross. And not as many as I was expecting. I think last time we were here there were a few more. Now, last time I was here, we caught the very beginning of the autocross, and it with the first car creaming into a barrier and then taking them half a day to clean it up, and I don't think many people ran. Where this time here, it seems like they had a different location, a little safer setup, and I think everyone got to run a few times. Some nice looking Camaros or Corvettes, excuse me, and this one Porsche derived Minx. Now, the one big thing that was different this time, there was a whole bunch of the same exact lowriders as before. And I spent a lot of time last video covering them because they were absolutely gorgeous works of art. But in the building next to the lowriders was this building, and you have, I guess, what is modern show car lowriders, but more interestingly is the mini trucks. Now, for a lot of people outside of Southern California, the mini truck thing maybe you're not really familiar with it. But, you know, that was one area that a lot of Japanese marques first made inroads into the domestic U.S. market, was making mini trucks. And like the lowriders, people, you know, they were cheap, secondhand, and guys would get them, and then they'd start fixing them up, and then it snowballed. And he ended up making these really incredibly interesting show vehicles. And they were a huge thing when I was a kid. As we go ahead and walk out to the exit, if you would, hit the like button if you enjoyed the video, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. That would help us out quite a bit. And leave a comment down below if you know precisely why this first SoCal Nationals is different from a regular Good Guys event. I'd appreciate it.